Well, you can't get too much after last week's shabanga bang from Toei. It's like they throw all their fucking chips in the bucket and then say, oh shit, we got a couple little ones left. Let's keep it moving. This episode of One Piece, for the most part, it was very slow. It had some cool parts to it, introduced a couple different things and had a couple different setups, but it was nowhere near. And I didn't expect it to be the level of last week's episode. I mean, even art and animation definitely wasn't on that level for Gear 4th. And we didn't really even get too much of Gear 4th and Doflamingo, like, Luffy versus Doflamingo. It just really wasn't all that in this episode. A lot of it was focusing on other different things, and of course that's attributing to, again, One Piece anime's slow pacing. One of the interesting setups that did happen in the episode, however, is Burgess on the prowl. I mean, that setup right there, because remember, he's with the Blackbeard Pirates, so he's up to some shady shit non-stop, and then having Koala there on the lookout and shit like that, that was a really interesting setup. It gotta make you wonder, okay, is he out to go try and kill Luffy? Is he out to go and try to, what is he trying to accomplish, and why is he on the prowl? So a nice little setup there, and it's interesting because at the end of the day, again, the connection to the Blackbeard Pirates is what makes it like Burgess is more deadly than ever. And another big interesting setup in this episode as well is the awakening powers. We've seen it a couple different times with Doflamingo as he's been fighting Luffy. In this one, he explained a little bit further, and like I said in my chapter reviews, I don't want to kind of repeat myself, but basically it really makes me wonder what other people with different abilities, if they awoke it, could do. Like, imagine Akainu with awakening powers. That just sounds fucking scary as fuck, because he already has the lava and everything. Just imagine lava shooting up and him controlling the lava and everything. He probably could do that on his own, but just the awakenings is crazy to think about with people that have different powers. I'm curious if the zone people could actually do some sort of awakening. I doubt, for example, Kaku could just make, I don't know, his giraffe fucking neck come out of the ground, or extend his neck and make it I guess it's probably to paramecias or people that just in general have those type of abilities that you can maneuver and stuff like that. And Luffy getting worn out in this one, definitely starting to see the weakness of the Gear 4th, because every gear has to have its weakness. I mean, Gear 2nd, it shortens his lifespan. Gear 3rd, he did overcome that weakness because he used to get really tiny and little. He became Chibi Luffy after it was done, him using it or whatnot. With this one, you're starting to see he's getting real tired and he's using his ornament haki a lot. So you're definitely going to see the consequences. So I'm glad that it's not just some OP hacks ass ability. There's a sacrifice that he has to make, because you see him constantly getting more tired throughout the fight. But the constant scenes of the townspeople struggling, and it's there was a few of that there in the manga. It was here and there. Of course, the anime is going to take the most boring shit in the world and stretch it out even further. I'm just keeping it real, honestly. Nobody wants to fucking see an old lady oh please, and then all of a sudden her fucking jetting away. It was really? I mean, the scenes that they stretch out is the scenes that no one gives a fuck about. Stretch out, I don't give a fuck, just bird just flexing. I would be fine with that over Zoro and fucking Kinemon and Kanjiro on that fucking, I don't know, what was it, flamingo bird, and it's just a long ass scene of that. No one gives a fuck. No one wants to see that. Stretch out shit that people actually care about. Get more of the Doflamingo versus Luffy fighter. Something inspirational speeches that we actually care from characters that are relevant. No one wants to fucking see the townspeople's struggles. And if you are gonna showcase it, make it be for a short period of time, here and there. Nothing too fucking grand, but a lot of the episode was focusing on that and King Riku's eyes. I ain't gonna lie, when he started crying in his speech or whatever, yeah, that was pretty nicely executed. Him giving the motivation to the townspeople or whatever, and that's why it was necessary in a way to show the townspeople struggling. But it wasn't necessary to have non-stop townspeople oh, my back, oh, this boulder, fuck. We didn't need that. So with all that being said, One Piece episode going from a great episode last week to an okay episode this week. Mainly the best thing that we had was the setup for Burgess, the introduction to the awakenings, or getting a little more clarification on what they are, and seeing that the fight is slowly progressing in a sense of Luffy getting tired, being in the Gear 4th mode, and I guess King Riku's speech at the end, it had some purpose. But yeah, very, very slow episode this week, and the art and animation was a huge dip from last week, which is to be expected, but nonetheless it happened. So a 6.5 to a 7 at best. I honestly would stick with the 6.5, maybe even down to 6. It's between 6 and 7, so we're gonna go with the 6.5 for this episode. Could have been great, but again, pacing issues, and really not too much happened. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode though. Did you feel the struggle for that old lady when she was on the ground, but then she got back up and left her granddaughter behind? Great fucking parenting, huh, bitch? And what do you think about the awakenings? Any predictions on some other awakenings we may see? Again, there's some fucking freaky shit that can happen. Imagine the Quake awakening, Any overall thoughts of the episode? I mean, it's One Piece anime, so it's to be expected, and that's kind of why I'm like iffy with reviewing it on a weekly basis. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed anything about this video, make sure to drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.